previous class, I have told you about the combined OCPs which contain estradiol and progesterone. Now, in patients where you cannot use estrogens, where estrogens are contraindicated or some side effects are there, then progestrogens can be used for contraception. Now, whatever the method the progesterone is given, whichever form it is given, the mode of action is similar, most of them. So, the main action is the action of the progestrogens. Now, these progestrogens are available as oral pills, as intramuscular injections, as implants, as patches which are stuck on the skin, as a vaginal ring which is impregnated with the progesterone, and as an IUCD which is impregnated with Mirena. And this Mirena IUCD I spoke to you about when I was taking a class on IUCDs. Now, first about the pill. We call it mini pill or progesterone only pill, that is POP. It avoids the side effects of estrogen. That is the main advantage of this. Now, it may contain any progesterone. It may contain norethistérone 350 micrograms or norgestrel 75 micrograms or LNG, that is levonorgestrel 30 micrograms. These tablets are started within 5 to 7 days after menstruation, that is after menstruation begins. Now, they are also given as 21 tablets. One tablet has to be taken every day and then 1 week pill free interval, during which time the patient will have withdrawal bleeding, and again started after 1 week. Now, if she is a postpartum patient, she had a recent delivery, then 3 weeks after the delivery, these pills can be started. Remember, these are safe in a lactating woman. That is one of the main advantages of giving progesterone only pill for contraception. And if she's starting after an abortion, immediately after an abortion, the very next day, these tablets can be started. Now, what are the advantages? The advantages are they are useful in women who are lactating, then women over 35 years and smokers where estrogen cannot be given because of vasoconstriction and the side effects. Then women with migraine, women who are intolerant to estrogen, wherever estrogen is contraindicated, in diabetics, in hypertensive women, and in sickle cell anemia, because estrogen causes sickle cell crisis in sickle cell anemia. The disadvantages are because it is only one hormone is used in these tablets, maintaining the endometrium is sometimes a problem. So sometimes what we call irregular bleeding, breakthrough bleeding we call this. Sometimes small amounts of bleeding can occur. Then or amenorrhea, like in an OC pill, amenorrhea can also occur. Then some psychological effects like depression, headache, weight gain can be there. And a slight increase in ectopic pregnancy can occur because most of these progesterone only pills do not prevent ovulation. So, if ovulation occurs, then fertilization can occur, and then because the progesterone alters the tubal motility, the fertilized ovum, that is a zygote, gets stuck in the fallopian tube and gets implanted there and becomes an ectopic pregnancy. And the failure rate of these pills is also higher than in combined OC pills. It is about 2 to 3 per 100 women years. With the combined OC pills, it is about zero point 0.1 to zero point 0.2 per 100 women years. See, it is 20 times or 30 times failure rate more than the OC pills. So, but in patients where OC pills cannot be used, these are useful. Now, what are the contraindications? If the patient has a previous ectopic pregnancy, or if there are ovarian cysts, breast cancer because the effect is not known, genital cancer like other ovarian cancer, etc., where we do not know, it may increase the uh, chances of cancer. Then any abnormal vaginal bleeding, unless it is investigated and the cause is found, no hormone should be started, not even OC pills, if there is abnormal uterine bleeding. Then active liver disease, because these hormones are metabolized in the liver, porphyria, and then with drugs like valproate, spironolactone, meprobamate, because drug interaction is there, and the effectiveness of the POP pill is reduced. A few points about this preparation, Ceruzet. Ceruzet is actually the trade name. It contains 75 micrograms of desogestrel. Desogestrel is also a progesterone. The specialty is that it suppresses ovulation also. Unlike the other progesterones, this suppresses ovulation by suppressing pituitary gonadotropin secretions. And there are no androgenic effects. And there is no, because there is no ovulation, there is no chance for ectopic pregnancy, and there is no effect on carbohydrate and lipid metabolism. Failure rate is also very low, almost comparable to the combined OC pills, 0.21 per 100 women years. But then some complications like DVT, pulmonary embolism, breast cancer, liver disease can occur, which is similar to the effect of OC, combined OC pills. So that is a drawback with this, but otherwise, all other advantages are there, like no ovulation, no ectopic, etc. This is the preparation, Ceruzet. Now let us go to the injection form of the progesterones. Depot injections. Now these preparations are what either medroxyprogesterone acetate or norethiosterone enanthate. Now depot medroxyprogesterone acetate, we call it a short form DMPA. Now it is available as 25 milligram or 50 milligram injections, 150 milligram injection, 300 milligram injection. Depending upon the strength of the injection, you can give them as monthly injections every 3 months or every 6 months. Norethiosterone enanthate is NITO. This is 200 milligrams injections every 2 months you give. And these injections have to be given deep intramuscular, either into the deltoid or more preferably into the gluteal muscle. The pregnancy rate is very low, uh, very good when you compare with the OC pills. DMPA pregnancy rate, that is failure rate, is 0.42 per 100 women years, whereas with NITO it is zero point 0.6 per 100 women years. These are some of the forms of the. This is a vaginal ring. This is the patch. These are the combined pills. This is the injection, DMPA injection. It is being given into the deltoid muscle here. Now, the advantage is that the compliance is good because patient needs to take only an injection once in 3 months or once in 6 months also. There's no need to take a tablet every day. So there's no question of forgetting the pill, no problem of missing pills, and then additional protection during that month, etc. And there is also least effect on carbohydrate and lipid metabolism, least androgenic effect, and it is very suitable for lactating women. It is quite independent in the sense that it need not be used during every act of coitus, not like other types of contraception like a barrier contraception. Then there are no estrogenic side effects. It can be given to patients with sickle cell anemia, then PID, ectopic pregnancy, functional ovarian cysts, and endometrial cancer are less when these progesterones are used for contraception. But there are disadvantages also. The disadvantages are side effects have to be tolerated till effect of injection is over. See, remember, once the injection is given, the medicine cannot be removed, the drug cannot be removed. So, whatever side effects have started, the patient has to tolerate them till all the drug is metabolized. Irregular menstruation and breakthrough bleeding and amenorrhea may be problematic for some women. STD and HIV, naturally, they are not prevented because it is not a barrier contraceptive. Weight gain, depression, mastalgia. Mastalgia is pain in the breast because of some breast edema. Sometimes these are problematic, and it is contraindicated in breast cancer. Prolonged use has an anti-estrogenic effect. If used for a long time, the estrogens are suppressed because some of these progesterones also suppress the pituitary gonadotropins. Even estrogens are suppressed. So There is reduction in bone density. You all know estrogen is very important to maintain the bone integrity. So bone density will be reduced, osteopenia will occur. And if this osteopenia is present in adolescents and young women, it may result in fractures, which is a very big problem. So it is contraindicated in young people. No, not more than 2 years of continuous use is advised. Then other form of giving progesterone is subdermal implants. These implants contain progesterone. Norplant 1 previously some years back, Norplant 1 was introduced. This contained 6 elastic capsules, each capsule containing the progesterone. And all these 6 capsules were then implanted under the skin. They're subdermal, beneath the skin, they were implanted because 6 was too cumbersome, too painful, and too laborious process of implanting them. They have changed this. Now, what is available is only a single rod. But these rod, many of these preparations, they are non-biodegradable. That means once the action of this drug in this capsule is over, that is, once the lifespan of this capsule is over, this capsule has to be removed again by a surgical procedure. If a biodegradable rod is used, it integrates naturally inside the body, it need not be removed. So now what they are trying is to introduce biodegradable, they are trying to invent biodegradable capsules. Then Norplant 2 is where 2 rods are introduced. Each contains 70 milligrams of levonorgestrel and 50 micrograms of levonorgestrel is released daily, which has the contraceptive action, which acts on the endometrium and other actions on the tubal motility, on the cervical mucus, etc. And so once this Norplant 2 is implanted, it is effective for 3 to 5 years. Then you got Capronor. This is the latest one. It has a biodegradable single capsule. So there is no need to remove this capsule. These implants are very popular in Western countries. They have not been taken up much in our country. One of the main reasons is that very expensive. You see this picture, you can see the implant, the rod. This is how it looks. And here it is being implanted. There is a special device to implant it just underneath the skin. This is introduced and then the introducer is removed. This was previously the 6 implants, Norplant 1. I just for showing you, I have put this picture. You can see the six six implants under the skin, which is quite painful actually. Now, when do we introduce this implant, insert this? It is inserted on the first day of menstruation, or if she had an abortion within first 5 days of abortion, or after delivery, like any other method, 3 weeks after a delivery. Under local anesthesia, this is inserted under the skin on the medial aspect of the upper arm. Non-biodegradable, they have to be removed again by again a minor surgical procedure. Contraindications, indications, etc., are the same as for the other ways of other forms of progesterogens, like pills and uh, what else, injections, etc. So I won't go into the details of those. Advantages are also same. Uh, the other, but the this form, the advantage of this particular implant form is that there's no need for oral ingestion of a pill, progesterone only pill every day, and there is no need for any frequent injections. Once it is introduced, you can forget till the lifespan is over, say 2 years or 3 years, depending on the preparation. Now, but the disadvantages are other side effects of the progesterone. Because as you introduce this by local surgical procedure, local infection can occur, and you need a minor surgical procedure for insertion and for removal also. And another major problem is the expense. Now you got the vaginal rings. These are silastic vaginal rings, which are kept in the vagina. Each ring carrying progesterone. It is about 50 to 75 in diameter, and you have got different sizes of these rings, and 5 to 9 thick. LNG ring Mainly the progesterone that is present in these rings is LNG, that is levonorgestrel. It releases 20 micrograms of levonorgestrel daily. It is kept for 3 weeks and removed for 1 week, during which time she'll have withdrawal bleeding. And then again after 1 week, it is a fresh one is introduced. Nuva ring is a trade name. Nuva ring is a one containing both estrogen and progesterone. That is, instead of the OC pill in the pill form, the people are trying to introduce in the vaginal ring form. This contains 120 micrograms of etonogestrel, that is a progesterone, and 15 micrograms of ethinyl estradiol. You see, very low dose of ethinyl estradiol, quite effective. Then nesterone is another preparation which contains 150 microgram of progesterone and 15 micrograms of ethinyl estradiol. So you got vaginal rings with both estrogen and progesterone, and also vaginal rings with only progesterone. Now this is the vaginal ring, you can see. It is very compressible. Before introduction, it can be compressed and then introduced into the vagina. Woman herself can introduce it herself. She need not come to a uh, uh, hospital for that. Here, this picture shows the vaginal ring and how it is placed in the vagina. See, it is introduced into the vagina. It will lie across the vagina from the posterior fornix to the anteriorly behind the pubic symphysis. Now, what are the advantages of these vaginal rings? Self-insertion can be done and removal also can be done by the woman herself, not dependent on the clinic. She need not go to a clinic. No need for any oral pills daily or injections, frequent injections, and no need for minor surgery like in implants. Then all the other advantages of progesterones are there. Disadvantages, particularly for this, is local irritation can occur, so vaginitis can occur, and spontaneous expulsion can occur. Expulsion will occur particularly if the ring size is inappropriate. If the vagina is room and large and then the size of the ring is small, it can get expelled. If it is too big, of course, again a problem of urinary retention. It can compress on the urethra and cause urinary retention if it is too big and the vagina is small. So these are a few disadvantages. Pregnancy rate is also quite comparable, 1.8 per 100 women years. Now, another form of giving this progesterone is skin patches. These skin patches, you have got hormonal patch, which releases 150 micrograms of norelgestromin and 20 micrograms of ethinyl estradiol. See, these patches are contain both estrogen and progesterone. Now, this life of this patch is 7 days, 1 week. So every month, 3 patches have to be used, and 3 patches, one after the other. After 1 week, remove the old patch, put a new patch. Like that for 3 patches. And then 1 week, no patch, patch-free interval. And during this patch-free interval, patient will have withdrawal bleeding. This patch can be applied everywhere, anywhere on the skin, on the back, wherever the patient finds it convenient, on the back, on the abdomen, buttocks, upper arm, etc. Anywhere, but except on the breast. Why? Because if it's applied on the, see all this from the patch, it is locally absorbed. These hormones are absorbed locally, enter into the bloodstream, and then it goes all over the body. But if it is applied on the breast, local absorption means it is absorbed onto the breast tissue, and then it may predispose the breast tissue for malignancy because of a local action. So that's why, as a precaution, it is not applied on the breast. Failure rate is a bit high. It is 1 to 2.8 per 100 women years. And the side effect may be a local skin reaction can be seen sometimes. See, this is the patch. A small one. It's more like a, band-aid plaster what you apply for small injuries. On the back, this patch has been applied. Now, you have got percutaneous gel, which contains estrogen and progesterone. 3 grams of the gel is applied on the skin and wait for 1 hour for the gel to dry up. And it is absorbed locally. Again, this is gel is not applied over breast. This gel preparation was introduced, but it is not very popular because this gel, to keep it for 1 hour, without disturbing that area is a bit of a problem. So, and the failure rate is also high. That is why it is not that popular. Now, Centroman. We have finished with the hormones for contraception. Now, Centroman is a non-hormonal contraceptive. It is not estrogen. It is not progesterone. It is a synthetic non-steroidal contraceptive. Some years back, this was introduced by the government of India as the name was Saheli. I don't know if you people have heard of it. Saheli was a name. It didn't take up much, so it is not that available now. This centroman is the chemical name. Okay. Now they are available as 30 milligram tablets. One tablet is taken on the first day of menstruation and twice weekly. See, some fixed days are fixed. Say, suppose she starts on a Sunday and then Thursday, like that. Every Sunday and Thursday for 12 weeks. That means for 3 months, twice weekly she has to take. And then after that, only once a week. If you fix another day, say every Sunday or every Thursday, and then take once a week for as long as contraception is needed. How does it act? It acts by endometrial changes. It prevents implantation, makes endometrium unsuitable for implantation, causes endometrial atrophy. It has got an anti-estrogenic action, and it is not teratogenic, it is not carcinogenic. So, if while using this drug, if the patient it fails and then the patient becomes pregnant, there's no harmful effect on the fetus. There is no teratogenicity, and if used for a long time, also there is no question of any carcinoma occurring. Now, it is also used for postcoital contraception, which I will be talking about later. Two tablets, that is 60 milligrams, are used within 24 hours after unplanned coitus and then repeated after 12 hours. That means four tablets are taken totally. Nowadays, this Syncroman, the other name for it is ormiloxifene. Now, it has been reintroduced as ormiloxifene and it is useful for treatment of abnormal uterine bleeding where there are no malignancies. All the other causes for abnormal bleeding have been ruled out. One of the methods of treatment is using ormiloxifene. Ormiloxifene is nothing but Centroman. Side effects are high headache, nausea, vomiting can be there, weight gain can be there, oligomenorrhea because it causes suppression of the endometrium. Some oligomenorrhea can be there. And then there's yes. Some of you please close microphones. Switch off your microphones. No protection against STD and HIV, and there's a sometimes delay in return of fertility once it is stopped. Now the contraindications are yes, please close your microphone. Somebody has got it open and some other sounds I'm hearing. Contraindications are during 6 months this cannot be used. Uh, then PCOD, cervical dysplasia, hepatic dysplasia, allergy to this drug, all these are contraindications. Now, I will talk about postcoital contraception. Now, postcoital contraception is also called interceptives. These are interceptives. Interceptives means they interfere with post-ovulatory event. We also call them as morning after pill. Morning after means morning after the coitus. If this pill is used, or also called as emergency contraception. Why emergency? Because of unplanned coitus, the couple is worried about conception, about pregnancy, and as an emergency, they want to take some contraception. Not as a regular contraceptive, but as an emergency, they want some contraception. So we also call it as emergency contraception. Now, what are the indications for this postcoital contraception? After unprotected intercourse or following rape, you do not want a victim to become pregnant. Then some contraception was followed, like a diaphragm or some condom, and diaphragm has been expelled, or the rupture of the condom was there. So patient is worried that she can become pregnant. Or as a backup method in misplaced IUCD and a missed pill. When I was talking about OC pills and about IUCDs, I told you if the IUCD is misplaced, then she can conceive during that month. So some backup method has to be used. Again, if pills are missed for 2 days or 3 days, then some backup method has to be used during that month. So this is useful. This postcoital contraception is useful in such a situation. Now, what are the various methods used for this emergency contraception? One is combined OC pills can be used, or pills containing only LNG, that is levonorgestrel, or pills containing mifepristone, or copper T IUCD can be introduced. Ulipristal is another drug. Sencroman, that is what I have already told you. Then GnRH, that is gonadotropin releasing hormone agonist, prostaglandins, all these have been used for methods of emergency contraception. I will talk to you a few lines about the each. Now, OC pills, combined OC pills, you can use it occasionally only as an emergency measure when unplanned coitus has taken place. But this method should not be followed as a regular contraceptive because then it disrupts the whole menstrual cycle. The what I have told you at the beginning of this hormonal contraception, the HPO axis, that whole axis will be uh, disrupted, and regular menstruation will become difficult, and later when she wants to conceive, ovulation also will be a problem. So as a regular contraception, it should not be used. It should be used only for emergency contraception. Now, how does this OC pills act for emergency contraception? If the ovulation has not occurred, there's a delay in ovulation. Then tubal motility is increased because of the progesterone effect. Endometrial atrophy can occur. All these changes which I've already spoken to you about during OC pills, combined pills, when I was talking. So endometrial atrophy and then changes in the cervical mucus, that is cervical mucus becomes hard and like a plug in the cervical canal. Then it also can cause corpus luteolysis, that is if ovulation has already occurred and corpus luteum has formed, then this corpus luteum can be destroyed, so that even if a zygote is getting implanted, because the corpus luteum is destroyed, there is no progesterone from the corpus luteum, and support to the implanted zygote will not be there and it will be expelled. So these are the various methods by which it acts. Now, what are the preparations and how do you give the combined OC pills for emergency contraception? You can give 4 combined pills. That is, if the ethinyl estradiol that is contained in these pills is 30 or 35 micrograms, then you give 4 pills whenever the patient has come to you, and then you repeat in 12 hours. Or if the pill contains 50 micrograms of ethinyl estradiol, then you give 2 combined oral contraceptive pills and then repeat again in 12 hours. If you are giving progesterone only pills, see these progesterone only pills are quite popular. They are available, actually previously they used to be available over the counter in the medical shops, and there used to be advertisements also some years back on the TV, and they were misused. That is why those advertisements have been withdrawn. I pill another, if you people remember. Anyway, so these LNG containing pills, 75 micrograms pills are available. It is taken within 72 hours of coitus and repeated again 12 hours later. Or the another advantage of this is 2 tablets can be taken as a single dose. No need to repeat if you take 2 tablets. Now, what are the advantages of LNG pill? There is no estrogenic side effects. Useful in hypertensive, diabetic, cardiac patients. Okay, all the other uses of progesterone lactating women can be given as late as 120 hours. That means 5 days after unprotected coitus. Some effect can be still be there. Then single dose is also an advantage. And of course, it is contraindicated wherever progesterones or OC pills are contraindicated. Now, Mifepristone. Mifepristone is also called RU486. It is an antiprogesterone actually. It is a steroid. It has an affinity for the progesterone receptors. It gets attached to the progesterone receptors in the various tissues in the genital tract, particularly the endometrium. And so the progesterone will not be able to act on the endometrium because the progesterone cannot get attached to the receptors as the receptors are already blocked by the mifepristone. And so, because the progesterone cannot act on the endometrium, implantation is prevented. So that is how it acts. Now, and it is not teratogenic. Suppose the patient has taken this, but still she has become pregnant, it is not going to affect the pregnancy. Then single dose of 10 milligrams can be taken. The failure rate is about 0.9%. Side effects are because it is an anti-progesterone, delayed menstruation can be there, irregular menstruation can be there, and sometimes an ectopic pregnancy also can occur. And of course, the tablet is more expensive than the syringe containing pill. And this is not regularly used. This is not that popular for emergency contraception. Now, copper T IUCD can also be used for emergency contraception if it is introduced within 5 days of unplanned coitus. Then it is effective. It prevents implantation of the fertilized ovum. The usual, what all I have described when I was talking about copper T IUCD, all the mode of action, they are applicable here also. And it is cheap in the sense that it's not actually cheap, but because it is supplied free by the government of India, we call it cheap. Okay, then failure rate is very less, 0.1%. And the particular advantage of using copper T IUCD as emergency contraception is that it can continue. You need not remove it after the periods. It can continue as an ongoing contraceptive for this woman because she has no method of contraception. She had to go for an emergency contraception. So then, if this is left in the uterus without removing, then it can be continued as an ongoing contraceptive for its lifespan, 3 years or 5 years, whatever the lifespan of the particular IUCD introduced. That's an advantage. Now, ulepristol is another drug which has been tried a few years back, quite recently, I should say. Now, this is a synthetic progesterone receptor modulator. That means it's a synthetic preparation and it modifies the progesterone receptors in the tissues. It attaches itself to the progesterone receptor, and in some places it increases the progesterone action, in some places it antagonistic to the progesterone action. It prevents ovulation, suppresses endometrium, and prevents implantation. This 30 milligram tablet is available. It is taken within 5 days of unprotected intercourse. Single dose is sufficient. But the failure rate is slightly higher, it is 2%. And some side effects like a headache and mood changes, etc., are present. And it is also more costly than the progesterone only preparation. Now, Centroman, I have already told you, is also being used as an emergency contraceptive. 50 milligram tablets, that is, two tablets of 30 milligrams, are taken within 4 hours of coitus and repeated 12 hours later. Then, failure rate is about 1%. Then, gonadotropin releasing hormone agonists have been tried, but these are expensive. They're only tried, they're not regularly used, particularly because of the expense. Prostaglandins have been used. Prostaglandins actually, you have misoprostol, prostaglandin E1 tablets, which can be used as a vaginal suppository following the unprotected intercourse. And then, how does the prostaglandin act? It increases tubal motility. It increases the motility of the uterus. So even if a fertilized egg is there, it is expelled by increasing motility of the uterus. Then, luteolytic effect on the ovaries, like corpus luteum is destroyed. So, ultimately, it prevents implantation. So, prostaglandins also have been tried. Male contraception, where suppression of spermat suppression of spermatogenesis is tried. Now, suppression of Spermatogenesis, that is sperm formation in the male for male contraception.
Oh,
Various have been tried. Hydroxycorn, testosterone inactivate, GnRH, hydroxyprogesterone,
lol.
and disease, etc. have been tried. See, again, lot of difficulties there. Please close your microphone. I've been warning you, you're not listening. Now, okay, first about gossipol. Now, gossipol is a yellow pigment. It is isolated from cotton seed oil. It is very popular in China. It was discovered in China and it's popular there. 10 to 20 milligrams daily for 3 months is taken and followed by 20 milligrams twice weekly. Now, this action is a direct action on the seminiferous tubules and inhibits the formation of sperms, development of the sperms in the seminiferous tubules. But and it has no effect on the pituitary. There's no alteration of FSH, LH. It's only a local action. The side effects are there. Weakness, hypokalemia is a particular problem with this gossipol, and permanent sterility also can occur sometimes. Testosterone enanthate. Testosterone is it's an androgen naturally, and 200 milligram injections are given every week. Testosterone busyclate is there, 600 milligrams, 3 monthly injections. Testosterone decanate, 1000 milligrams uh, given injection given, followed by 500 milligrams every 4 weeks. That means every month. Then, or you have got implants of testosterone. That is 200 milligrams each implant. Each implant contains 200 milligrams implanted every 4 to 6 months, along with 300 milligrams injection of medroxyprogesterone. So these various ways of giving testosterone have been tried. GnRH as a male contraception, that is gonadotropin releasing hormone. Continuously, if you give GnRH injections, there's a fall in sperm count and sperm motility because of the negative feedback effect. There is no release of pituitary and gonadotropins, and so naturally no formation of the sperms, no development of the sperms in the testes. But then the side effects are loss of libido and osteoporosis. All these are the side effects and expensive also. Medroxyprogesterone acetate, 250 milligrams with 200 milligrams of norepinephrine. Weekly injections have been tried. Medroxyprogesterone is a progesterone, of course. Desogestrel is also a progesterone, but it is anti-androgenic. So 75 to 300 micrograms daily with subcutaneous pellets, that is implanted of a pellet of testosterone 300 micrograms. The combination has been tried. This male contraception has not been very popular, and no perfect method of male contraception has been found. So that's the end of my